It was, all my homeboys, we played football, basketball, we were in the sports or either going to school. But then as we got older, a lot of the homies started getting caught up and gangs started to form. And
Snoop Dogg survived the trenches, beat a murder case, and watched people close to him pass away way too soon. Most would have folded under that pressure. He did not. Instead, he rose up and became one of the most recognized faces in hip-hop history. Let's rewind the tape and break down how Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr. went from a kid on the block to standing in a Los Angeles courtroom facing the possibility of life behind bars. Born on October 20th, 1971, at Long Beach Community Hospital in Long Beach, his story started far from fame. His biological father, Vernell Varnado, a Vietnam War veteran and mail carrier, left the family just 3 months after he was born and relocated to Detroit. That early absence left a mark. His mother later married Calvin Cortazar Broadus Sr., and the young boy was named after him. But that marriage did not last either. By the time Snoop was about 4 years old, his mother, Beverly Lynn Tate, was raising him and his brothers on her own. She became the backbone of the family, juggling multiple jobs just to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. They were living on the east side of Long Beach during the 70s and 80s, a time when factories were closing, jobs were drying up, and the crack epidemic was creeping into neighborhoods fast. The streets were changing, money was tight, tension was high. To help out, young Snoop started hustling the legal way early on. He sold candy door to door, delivered newspapers, and bagged groceries at local stores. He was learning the grind before he even hit his teenage years. Music entered his life through church. His mother, a devout Baptist who sang at Golgotha Trinity Baptist Church, had him in the choir and on the piano before kindergarten. She raised him on classic R&B and soul. Sounds that would later shape his smooth, melodic flow. The nickname Snoopy came from her too. She said he looked like the cartoon dog from Peanuts and was always watching that show. That soft, playful nickname clashed hard with the environment outside their front door. In school, he wasn't some lost cause. By 6th grade, he was already rapping in the hallways, drawing such big crowds that teachers thought fights were breaking out. He also had real talent on the football field, playing receiver and defensive back with scholarship potential. He stayed active in church and sports, but the streets kept whispering his name. By the late 80s, gang activity in Long Beach was rising fast. Police pressure was constant. Drugs were everywhere. Around 15 or 16, he became affiliated with the Rollin' 20s neighborhood Crips. He has said it was not some dramatic ceremony. When you grow up in that environment, your friends are already involved. It feels normal. It feels like protection. It feels like belonging. Looking back, he described how everything shifted as they got older. As a kid, it was cool because it wasn't too much violence. All my homeboys, we played football, basketball. We were in sports or either going to school. But then as we got older, a lot of the homies started getting caught up, and gangs started to form, and some of us started going to jail. That transition from kids with dreams to young men tangled in the system happened fast. By his late teens and early 20s, he was deep in street life. He was selling drugs, chasing fast money, and attracting serious attention from rivals and law enforcement. Between 1989 and 1990, he was arrested multiple times for possession with intent to distribute. One of those cases landed him in Los Angeles County's Wayside Maximum Security Facility for about 6 months.
like I said, when we was making tapes in the back, me and my homeboys, Dre's little brother was my DJ at the time being, and he was always telling me, man, you need to rap for Dre. And I was like, I know I ain't ready for them yet. They had put Straight Outta Compton out, and I was like, I ain't even on their level yet. So we just went ahead and kept making.
Sitting in a cell forces reflection. Coming home after that time changed something in him. He realized the path he was on could end in prison for good. He later admitted, when I first got out of jail, like in '89, the end of '89, I didn't want to go back to jail. That was the turning point. The streets had shown him the consequences. Music was about to show him the exit. Music turned into his escape route, plain and simple. Back in high school, he had already locked in with Warren G and his day one brother Nate Dogg, another church kid with a voice that could shake the walls. Together, they formed 213 and started crafting that smooth, laid-back G-Funk vibe. heavy inspiration from George Clinton and the early West Coast legends. They were hungry, grinding in the background, building something special before the world even knew their names. The turning point came when Warren G slid one of their demo tapes to Dr. Dre at a function in 1991. That single move changed everything. By 1992, Snoop was featured on Dre's Deep cover. Once that track dropped, the industry felt the shift instantly. For that moment, they were recording in the back of a local record store, stacking homemade tapes and perfecting their craft. Dr. Dre's little brother kept pushing him, saying, "Man, you need to rap for Dre." But Snoop stayed patient. He knew the level Dre was on after Straight Outta Compton. He wasn't about to step in half ready. He said, "I know I ain't ready for them yet. I ain't even on their level yet." So instead of rushing, he sharpened his skills, kept writing, kept flowing, kept leveling up. Patience paid off in a major way.
When I first got out of jail, like in 89, the end of 89, I didn't want to go back to jail. I wanted to do something.
In 1993, he was gearing up to release Doggy Style, a debut that would explode into one of the fastest-selling rap albums ever. He was only 22, standing right at the edge of superstardom, money coming in, fame knocking at the door. Everything looked lined up for a legendary run. But on August 25, 1993, gunshots cracked through the air near his apartment in Los Angeles. Just like that, his entire future was hanging through a thread. The same industry that was about to crown him was now watching him walk into court, fighting for his freedom. The tension behind that shooting had been building for months. Philip Waldemariam, 20-year-old allegedly connected to a local crew, reportedly had issues with people in Snoop's circle. According to the defense, there were multiple run-ins that summer. They claimed Waldemariam and others had been following Snoop's Jeep, tossing threats, showing weapons, making it clear there was bad blood. Then on that August night in the Palms area of West LA, it all boiled over. Snoop was driving his black Jeep Cherokee. His bodyguard, McKinley Lee, was in the front seat. Sean Abrams was in the back. They spotted Waldemariam walking through a park nearby. Words were exchanged. Tension snapped. Lee fired from inside the vehicle. Waldemariam was hit as he turned to run and later died at the scene. Authorities reported that no weapon was recovered from his body. The LAPD immediately launched a manhunt. The headlines exploded. Instead of hiding, Snoop turned himself in with his lawyers by his side. Both he and Lee were charged with first-degree murder. They were staring at life in prison, possibly even the death penalty. 21 years old, with fame just within reach, he was suddenly walking into court, knowing one wrong move could bury him forever. Years later, he admitted how heavy that moment felt, stepping into that courtroom as a young man with his entire life on the line.
The trial finally jumped off in late 1995, with jury selection starting in November and opening statements rolling out in January 1996. It all unfolded inside Los Angeles Superior Court, with Judge Paul Flynn presiding over a case that had the whole city watching. The prosecution did not play nice. They came at Snoop aggressive, trying to frame him as the mastermind behind a revenge move, paint him like he called the shots and set everything up. They even dragged his own music into the courtroom, pointing the lyrics from Murder Was the Case and claiming it showed his state of mind. Suddenly, art was being twisted into alleged evidence, and every word he ever spit felt like it was under a microscope. This was the first time Snoop had serious legal muscle behind him. Before that, he admitted he used to just accept whatever deal was offered because he didn't have the money and knowledge to fight back. He said, "I didn't know how to carry myself. I didn't know how to act, because I was never in a position like that. Normally, when I went to court, I would just take the deal. Now, the stakes were life or death, and there was no quick deal to sign. This time, everything was on the line, and he had to stand tall in a system that was ready to lock him away for good. The defense team was stacked with serious power players. Johnny Cochran stepped in fresh off the massive O.J. Simpson case, alongside David Kenner and Donald Etra. This was not a regular courtroom lineup. This was heavyweight status. They pushed a strong self-defense argument, saying Philip Waldemariam and his associates had been pressuring Snoop's circle for weeks before that night. The defense painted a picture of tension building, threats being made, and fear escalating. Whether people liked Suge Knight or not, when it was time to protect his artist, he did not hesitate. He funded an elite legal machine that reportedly cost Death Row Records close to $10 million.
Snoop later admitted, like even when it came to my murder case, if it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would have did, because he was professional enough to know that you need a lawyer. We got to get a defense team. We got to do this. Don't say a word. That silent strategy alone may have saved everything. Then came a move that shocked the courtroom. Snoop's legal team introduced video reenactments of the shooting, something courts had barely seen at that level before. They recreated the entire sequence to show the jury exactly how events allegedly unfolded. Snoop explained, this was the first time that video reenactments was introduced in court, so we had to reenact what had actually happened through a video that my attorney was willing to have, found a way to put together. So it was like a reenactment, like you see now when you watch those shows, the first 48 and all that. You see them how we was the first ones to do that in court. That visual breakdown hit different. It made the situation feel real, not just words flying back and forth. The jury started deliberating on February 20th, 1996. 4 long days passed with rumors swirling that they might be stuck. Tension was thick. Then the verdict dropped. Both Snoop and McKinley Lee were acquitted on all murder charges. The voluntary manslaughter charge ended up deadlocked, and the district attorney later dismissed it. Some jurors reportedly said the self-defense argument made sense, and they were not fully convinced by how the investigation was handled. Just like that, a life sentence disappeared. But beating the case did not mean walking away untouched. The legal fees stacked up between $5 and $10 million. He spent time on house arrest, dealt with non-stop threats, and lived with the fear that one decision could end it all. He's spoken about praying every night, terrified he might face the death penalty, and going through a deep spiritual shift during that period. That courtroom battle changed him. It forced him to slow down, reflect, and understand that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Every single day after that felt like borrowed time. He didn't just level up in music, he started pouring back into the community too. He launched Snoop Youth Football League and later expanded programs supporting kids with special needs, creating safe spaces and real opportunities for young people who might not get them otherwise. He said that seeing those kids grow means even more to him than watching players make it to the NFL. That hits different. For him, it's not just about trophies or contracts. It's about impact that lasts beyond the spotlight. His evolution as a performer came when Charlie Wilson stepped in, showed him how to truly command a stage. During the Lollapalooza tour, Snoop had to perform with a live band, and that experience sharpened him up fast. Charlie became his musical director and mentor, schooling him on pacing, crowd control, and professionalism. He explained, I needed Charlie because Charlie was a professional, and he showed me how to perform, how to take advantage of the crowd, how to look them in the eye, how to stay engaging with them, how to put my set list together where you don't play your biggest records first. That guidance transformed him from just a rapper with hits into a full-blown entertainer who could rock any stage anywhere in the world. Then there's his unexpected bond with Martha Stewart, a friendship nobody saw coming. From cooking shows to business ventures, they built something authentic across 2 completely different worlds. He said, that's what I love about her, is that she got the same spirit that I have as far as like she's a hustler and she ain't a snitch either. Nah, she a rider. That connection proves something powerful. People build walls thinking they can't vibe with someone from a different background. And sometimes the real link is mindset, not image. Their friendship flipped stereotypes on their head and showed how unlikely partnerships can thrive. Fatherhood changed him in a deep way. Having children made him think about survival, about being present, about making it home safe every night. He said, when you start having babies, if you got a real good heart, and you realize you brought something in this world, it's your responsibility to be better for your baby. And not just your baby, but the babies in the world. That shift turned reckless energy into responsibility. The streets no longer felt like a game. Life became bigger than reputation. Now as a grandfather, he moves even softer. He admits, with my grandkids, I do a lot of things that I didn't do for my kids, and I'm more like softer on them because I feel like they're precious. He looks back at how strict he was with his own kids and questions if he was too hard. But he also understands he was raised to prepare them for reality, not fantasy. That reflection shows growth. Tough lessons shaped him, but love reshaped him even more. 54 years old, Snoop Dogg is still active, still evolving. His recent album, Is It a Crime, addresses controversy while flexing the range he built over 3 decades in the game. Finally being free from old contractual chains, whether it was death row or no limit, gave him creative freedom. He said, "Once I was able to have my hands free from all of the situations that I had been in, I just wanted to do different styles of music. Like I love music. I love every form of music. If I love the style of music or the genre of music, I'm gonna try it." That mindset keeps him relevant. He's not boxed in. He experiments, collaborates, keeps pushing. The real story is not that he faced losses, it's that he survived them all. He outlasted the streets, outlasted the case, outlasted friends he buried, and outlasted the critics who said he would fade. Every setback carved something out of him. Every comeback built something stronger. Music, family, business, community work. The same man who once feared the death penalty in a Los Angeles courtroom now owns the label that once nearly crushed him. Kid who used to hustle tapes on a bike now sends athletes towards the NFL. The artist who once stood in hospital hallways mourning friends now mentors the next wave coming up. His fate could have ended in tragedy. What he built instead is legacy. If you rocked with this story, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives and real talk on the legends who shaped the culture.